Osiris arm from KT Audio Imports. Tom Vu, proprietor of KT Audio Imports, handcrafts turntables, and now Tonearms, and in addition has a line of cartridges he's brought to market. This Tonearm, the Osiris arm, is made for the Triangle Art turntable series. We have a signature here. It mates perfectly. Fits right on top of the arm pillar. And after you set it up, produces wonderful music. I've had lots of Tonearms on this turntable, including the Kuzma 4-point, the Aikida, the triplanar, and now the Osiris. The Osiris arm sounds more akin to the Aikida, and it's a big, bold sound. It may dig a little bit more transient response out of the grooves than the Aikida, but it has the same amount of beauty as the Aikida arm has. I think the stage is just as layered as the Aikida, so it produces a very layered soundstage because of its panoramic portrayal of music. It's not an image incisive arm in that it doesn't give you the image locked into its own space with sharp edges around it. It gives you more of a broad stroke. And perhaps that's due to its length. It's a long arm, it's a 12-inch arm. I've tested it with singer-songwriter, classical, big band jazz, small combo jazz, and it really does put the instruments in your room. You don't think about the high fidelity aspect of music with the Osiris arm. You do a little bit more with the Kuzma. It's so accurate, the Kuzma. It just lasers the images in your room. This is different. This is more of a portrayal. It's more of being in a concert hall and you're sitting halfway back. The stage is vast. The performers come on stage and you can see and hear and feel the event in front of you. That's what this arm does. It gives you more of an event aspect of the music. If you're considering the Triangle Art turntable, which I believe is one of the best buys in audio today, you should consider matching it up with the Osiris arm. Now I like the Osiris arm on this turntable, and I like the Aikida arm on this turntable. And I'd like to have both if I could. But you'll choose this arm if you want to match your product. And this arm, it's very different than the Aikida arm in that it's a unipivot, but it's an inverted unipivot. A normal unipivot has a point that the back of the arm rests on one point. It balances, arm comes out, and the cartridge floats like this. DPI arms are unipivots. This arm is an inverted unipivot. The arm has a magnet at the top of the rear of the arm, and if you can see, I can float it back and forth just like you do a normal unipivot, but in this case it's hanging like a bat. It's the best way to describe it. So it's a different approach than the standard unipivot arm. Sonically, does that affect the sound? Absolutely. Every parameter of a Tonearm's design affects the sound. And I think because it's hanging in space, the end of the arm, the cartridge, is also hanging. The pivot point is a little bit above the needle, where in a unipivot, it can be at or just a little bit below the stylus tip. This unique inverted unipivot approach is a very creative way to build a tone arm. It's gorgeous to look at as well. Aspect of audio that I have to evaluate. I like to evaluate not only how it sounds, but how it looks. And I think that the arm, in conjunction with the table, makes for a really smart match. Setting up the Osiris arm, you have to be careful. You have to be careful with your cartridge when you're putting the arm up in its inverted bearing position. The magnet will suck up the lower magnet, but if you're not careful and you're pushing down on the back, it will fall off and the back of the arm will tumble down. So that presents challenge number one. Once you overcome that and you understand how the arm sits and fits and how much pressure you can put in the rear of the arm, you'll get more confidence. And when you place the arm into position, and when you attach your cartridge to it. The arm is made of a dense ebony type wood, and the top of the arm comes out to mount the cartridge. It's wood, and then below it is a brass mounting platform for the cartridge. I urge you to be careful when you mount your cartridge and don't over tighten the screws that go through the wood down to the brass mounting point, down to your cartridge. When you pick the arm up and place it on a record, you'll see, like a typical unipivot that's 12 inches in length, there's a little bit of play. So you want to get the arm over to the starting point of your record and take it in just a little bit, because the wires, which act as anti-skating, will pull it as you're setting the needle down, as you control the arm lift. When you get the hang of it, it's second nature. Those are three things that you have to watch out for with the arm. The fit and finish on the arm is good. This is not a mass-produced arm. This arm is made one at a time, and it's handcrafted. If you want a machined, perfect tolerance arm, you might want to consider an SMA. This is more for the art lover. It really is about the sound, and it is gorgeous. So you should consider this arm if you're considering this turntable. The Osiris arm, it's the epitome of music. It's a mid-hall portrayal. Vast, beautiful sound spaces it creates. The images are very dense, but without any sharp edges. If you value music above high fidelity, this is an arm for you to consider. I recommend the Osiris arm for its musical beauty. Peter Burning and reporting for AV Showrooms.